All right, Landon, thanks so much for being a guest on Wicked Smart Golf, man. Excited to talk to you today about tournament golf and golf psychology. You got a lot of expertise, so looking forward to it.
Absolutely, me too. I'm a fan of your podcast and very excited to be on and helping your audience get better at golf.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, man, we got a lot of committed golfers, a lot of guys getting into tournaments and breaking 80 consistently and wanting to hit that scratch golf. And there's no doubt in my mind you can help them out today. So let's do a little background because you have a pretty extensive golf career. It's not like you just have played in a few tournaments. You've been a pro, you've won at some high levels. Take us back to kind of when it got started. When did you catch the golf bug?
Yeah, definitely. So, I was not a golfer growing up. I was a baseball player. I always had a dream of wanting to play professional baseball. And then growing up in Miami, I realized that I wasn't big enough, strong enough, or had enough facial hair. So I had to do something else. So I decided to do golf. Um, started playing golf when I was 15, was the worst player, I guess 14, my freshman year of high school, was the worst player on my team my freshman year. Like literally first match. So we played double par maximum, right? Par 36. I shot 72 for 9 holes. All right. So not good at all.
I get it,
Uh,
man. 124 in my first tournament, so I just want you to
did
know
you
you're in.
really?
Yeah. So and there
Yeah.
was no max. It probably, thankfully, I mean, I probably should have been, but yeah, I understand. So that's good though. I
Yeah.
like I like people like you that you weren't like a child prodigy. Like you had to figure it out like everybody else.
No, no, I was not good at all. And then my sophomore year, I was the best player on the team. So
Oh,
I'd
that's
like,
fast. That's an okay.
thank you.
It took me until senior year, so you're kind of you're outshining me a little bit here.
I did go to a small high school, but we'll leave
Okay.
that part out. Yeah. But I was got significantly better. And then, my junior and senior year, I was past the process of being able to be recruited to like a D1 school. So I ended up going and recruiting myself to a Division 3 school in Birmingham, Alabama, which the school is now defunct.
Oh,
Birmingham
okay.
Southern College is the school. So if you want to do a little Google search, you'll see some funny stuff there. But yeah, recruiting myself was the essentially, it's a D3, so they don't really offer scholarships. But I was the eighth man on the team, really should have been a nobody, and went out and finished second in my first tournament. And by my sophomore year, I was ranked top 3 in Division 3 golf. And then ended up transferring to Rice University in Texas. So that's a D1 school where I was captain on the team my senior year, and we actually won conference my senior year for the first time in 75 years, which was a really, really cool experience to get to hang out with the boys and go over to North Carolina and play regionals, which was really, really special. And then turned pro after that, had an interesting US Open story, which we can kind of get into a little bit later. And then, kind of worked my way up the mini tours. And I, honestly was not a very good pro my first couple of years, but I really had to learn things that made me a good pro, and eventually, played 3 years on Latin American tour, 1 year on Canadian tour, 1 year on Sunshine tour, and I have about 12, yeah, I have 12 professional victories, kind of throughout the world, and smaller tournaments, nothing huge. And then after Q school in 2021 is when I really started to teach more. So I teach full time down here at Miami Springs Golf Course in Miami, Florida.
Nice, man. Well, that was the efficient version of a very long career. Nice job there. You keep my attention. I love it, man. It's we got to rewind though because there's a lot to go through. So first off, how'd you improve so quickly in high school? What were you doing? Because I know that everybody wants everything overnight, right? The six pack tomorrow, the Amazon effect, like the make money now. What golf is not like that. Sometimes you can, make some big strides quickly in different parts of the game, usually not changing your swing so much, but the mental or putting, stuff like that. So what were you doing in high school and college to speed up that curve?
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good question. I was very fortunate to work with somebody he was a younger guy. Gail Leslie's his name, teaches down here in Miami as well. He had a lot of free time when he was first starting out as a pro, and he really took me under his wing and was like, "Hey, we're gonna, 3 or 4 times a week, we're going out to the golf course and we're gonna play, we're gonna practice." And then when I was in Vermont, where we have a family house up there, was another pro who was a younger guy as well. Who was like, "Hey, we're gonna play every day. I'm going to teach you how to hit this shot. I'm going to teach you how to hit this shot." So it's a good question. And kind of when I go back and think about it, I think it was the understanding that we go to play golf to play golf. So I wasn't really sitting on the range, grinding on my swing or doing anything. It's like, no, we're going to go out on the golf course and we're going to figure out how to get the golf ball around the golf course. And, obviously got better around the greens, just how do we hit kind of some of the basic shots? How do we take care of some of the low hanging fruit? And, from my baseball background, I already had a decent amount of power. So that element wasn't too hard to kind of learn, but just learning how to play golf, how to kind of work my way around the golf course, how to have decent course management. I think that really helped me kind of speed up that learning process. And I was obsessed. I mean, every day, 8 hours a day. Mom dropped me off at the golf course or first thing in the morning, picked me up at dark.
That was me too, man. I had no friends in high school, which is fine because I don't think anybody from that high school ended up doing much anyway. So I wasn't going to the barn parties to drink at night and stuff. I was like, I got a tea time in the morning. Like I wasn't really meant to be in Oregon as you can probably imagine from my tone there. But I just loved the golf course too. I worked there. I would literally be at the chipping green. I'd have the Honda Civic lights on at night on the putting green. Like I couldn't get enough. So I hope everyone that is young and listening is, going all in because I got a few high school kids I'm working with right now. And I love, like, I'm asking them what their schedule's like. And it's like golf all the time. Mom's cooking food. I'm like, you guys got it made. You need to,
Yeah.
you need to be enjoying that.
What was your first job at the golf course?
So my first job, actually, I was 14 years old, and the clubhouse had just been redone, and they were like had all these like tons of all the members and guests and stuff, and I didn't even have a driver's permit or anything, and so they gave me somehow they were just saw me out there all the time. They let me take the cart, like one of those big carts where you could shuttle people because they had to park for a long ways away. And I remember this one lady like said like he's not 15, he's not allowed to do it, but the pro really liked me because I was out there all the time. So that was kind of how I got my in, just being the shuttle kid that one night, and then I ended up being in the cart barn, and being in Oregon when it's 25-30 degrees out in that picking range balls, it is awful. And then
Not
eventually
ideal.
got moved up to the pro shop, but yeah, I had to work my way up. How about you?
Yeah, first job at the golf course was a caddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So I was a
That's
caddy.
fun. See, that's cool.
Yeah.
We were a very small club in Oregon. We don't have caddies. So what was the caddy life like?
Oh, it was great. No, it was super fun. Go to Riviera Golf Course down here in Miami. Show up at 6 in the morning. You sit in the bag shop and wait for someone to go out. And we didn't really have a huge caddy program. There were like two or three foursomes that like to walk kind of first thing in the morning. So if you got out, and one of them was like my dad's financial advisor, so he liked taking me, which was he was a super nice guy, and they were pretty good golfers, and they really enjoyed kind of like kind of teaching me things out there on the golf
Mm-hmm.
course. I was just like just getting into it, just kind of just manual labor, lugging the clubs. But the best thing was that after you caddied, you would obviously you get paid, and then you get a free pass to go play the private golf course. So it was
Nice.
like then my friends and I would go to McDonald's, get a couple hamburgers, and then go back to the club and like play later with another friend of ours.
That
So
sounds like
that
a
was
perfect day. Like that's
yeah.
you like guys don't need much to be happy. Like I always joke, like just like food and golf, like that sounds like a fantastic day. That was probably when burgers were like $5 for two of them and a fry, right? Like so that was
Oh,
good
dude,
living.
do you? I don't know if you ever had it, but we had dude on Wednesdays and Fridays. It was like 49-cent hamburgers. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds right. I mean, I lived at fast food. I literally ate nothing but fast food, and it looked like it in high school. Trust me. So I get it. That's fun though that you were a caddy. Now that I remember that, I've actually never even shared this on this podcast. But I caddied a little bit when I was in college, when I was down in San Diego, and I actually caddied at Torrey Pines a couple times, and it was like more like a four caddy. But I just never forget. I was with this group. I had no idea. Like I was on like a caddy website or something, and they had this big event, invited me there to be a caddy. And I was a total burnout in college. So like I probably got there late and was probably hungover, and like I'll just never forget like getting there and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my towel. Like that's like the one thing a caddy needs, right? So I run back to my car. Phil Mickelson is walking in. He's the celebrity guest for this event. And so I get to say hi to Phil. This is pre-cell phone era, pretty much, or iPhone era. So I said hi to him. I'm like, this is so cool. And then the guys that I was caddying for were so loaded that I remember asking them like, well, what time's your guys' flight? They're like, well, when our plane leaves. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so that was kind of my first interaction with like FU money. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like that. And so I think to all the because we got a lot of people with kids listening to this too, like have your kid work around golf, like to be around older people. You learn how to conversate. I mean, I'm terrified for the youth that on TikTok all day. They don't even know how to get out of the house or talk to kids, right? But like, or talk to adults. So it's like working at a golf course, you learn a lot. You get like mentored, like you just said you did with caddy, and you get to, be around adults and have conversations, and you get a lot of wisdom too. So I think that's cool that you have that story. How long did you end up caddying for?
I caddied my whole high school career. So
Oh,
from
nice.
when I was 14 till 18, 15 to
What do you
18.
feel like you learned the most as a caddy? I feel like you probably learned how to read greens better than anybody else. I mean, like, because you
Definitely,
figured
yeah,
it out.
there was definitely an element of like, okay, this guy's got a $10 putt here. Let's make sure we read this putt
Yeah.
correctly. I definitely got to know the golf course very well. Um, Definitely learned kind of like watching golf from an outsider's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
understanding how detrimental being very angry was. Because like me, kind of as like a young testosterone-ridden kid, I was just like, oh, every time I hit a bad shot, I want to snap a club. But it's like
I get it.
watching it from the outside perspective and being like, this person was playing great. They hit one bad shot, they freak out, and then they don't. It takes them 6 holes to recover. So it's like kind of seeing that from the outsider's perspective. I think was probably the thing I took away
Mm-hmm.
most from that.
That's actually, yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, it's funny because I know a lot of guys reach out to me. Blow up holes are one of the top three things I hear about, and usually it's from anger, which again I can relate to. I've thrown a 5 wood in a lake before and done some other
It's
stuff. I
fun.
just had a student actually tell me he kicked a windshield of a cart and cracked it. So I was like, that's a new one. I hadn't heard of that one. So it happens.
Like
So
karate chop,
like
like
straight like Leonidas in the 300, when he kicks him down the hole. That's how I imagined it. And so again, I'm not judging. I've been there. Have you ever dealt with any anger on the golf course then, or did you see it
oh
too
yeah.
early and realize that that's not for me, or were you like you said testosterone kind of got the best of you?
Didn't always take my advice, but now that I'm a little
Yeah.
bit older, a little bit wiser, I can look at it. Um, no, but there was definitely some anger in there, and I'm curious kind of what you think about this. That you have a little bit more focus on the mental side of it. There's definitely a side of anger. Anger is just an emotion, which is just energy. We can have a decision to like where we want to focus that. But I do think like that energy that can be anger can also be drive, desire to get better. Like that same energy will also make you sit on the putting green for 10 hours and like putt until you can't putt anymore. You know what I mean? Like there's a some sort of balance in there, but when you're talking about like performance skills, there were definitely times where I let my anger get the best of me.
Yeah,
Gosh,
no,
oh
I
man.
think that's good perspective too. And I think yeah, there's like it's all comes down to me like self-awareness, right? It's like if you just get mad and it doesn't do anything, then that's clearly not helping you. But if you can use a little bit of anger to kind of fire yourself up and to practice more or to stay mentally focused during the round, I think that most men particularly just don't spend a lot of time getting to know ourselves and know our tendencies. So I really encourage like all my students to like spend time off the course. Like who are you? What makes you mad? What makes you excited? What makes you motivated? Like when I tell students to create golf goals, I always say pick an enemy because I learned this from Patrick Bet David, great podcast and guy, entrepreneur, and he had a book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely, and he talks about how enemies aren't a bad thing, and men specifically, I think, can use them as fuel. So I have several people that fuel me to go practice when I don't want to. Several people that have doubted me in my business, so when I don't want to work, I think about them. So it's like I think that if you use it the right way, it can absolutely help. But the problem is most of us just go Chernobyl out there, and then all of a sudden we have just the highest brain waves. We have no ability to focus. And so I'm like, if you think you can get John Rahm angry and then you're still 100% on the next one, okay. But I don't think most people can get there. So it's like, I think anger is okay. You can release it sometimes, not like tomahawking clubs, hopefully, but like it's okay. I like the 10-step rule. You can be mad for 10 steps. I think if you try to suppress it all day, that's when a big meltdown can happen, though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely 100% that meltdown can happen, especially if you're just trying to hold it in, bubble it in, and
Yeah.
then eventually something happens and you just snap. Yeah, that the anger is definitely can be. I mean, it's the same thing with nervousness. It's
Hmm.
like oh, I'm just excited. So I have a
Yep.
question for you. So you talk about choose your enemies wisely. I think that's super smart. I haven't really heard anybody kind of talk about that. Do you use enemies being like outside of you, like different people, or are there ever like certain, because it's something that I do with some of my students where I have them imagine like they're like who they are at their worst. Okay.
Mm,
So it's like when, like for me, for example, when I'm at my worst, so when I'm playing tournament golf, I'm rushing, I'm very talkative, I'm not focused on what I'm doing, and I like don't take my time or visualize. So like I have a persona for that person. Could that person be my enemy? You know,
that's a
like
good question. I think that it definitely could be, because I have kind of a negative persona, and then I also have mellow Mike. And mellow Mike is when I play my
mellow
best, but Mad Mike is when I play bad. So I definitely am trying to be aware of Mad Mike and have, all these different strategies and things I've learned. And it's like I always say, like, you got to learn this stuff, have a toolbox, and then see what works best for you and see what you can remember to actually do on the course. And I think that's the hard part, is like, one, people don't learn this stuff, and then two, they forget about it because they are so angry, frustrated, mad. So yeah, I think that can be. I use personally external ones just because I don't want to get into hating myself sometimes, or going against myself. I
Sure.
think we battle ourselves a lot, but I think again it all comes back to what I said: self-awareness. If you know kind of your tendencies, and when you're fired up in a negative way, or if you're just mentally not there, like, you got to find stuff to kind of get yourself back. And that's why I do talk about routines a lot, like, having the same routines before tournaments, and just getting yourself in that good headspace. Like, I have a playlist I listen to, I try to map everything out. I have my clothes laid out. I have this and that, like, so that way I can get into that space as quickly as I can. I think that the less thinking we have to do on like tournament days, I feel like, to me, helps. What do you think? Obviously, you've played tournaments at 100 times higher level than I have. Like, do you feel like you had consistent routines that kind of got you into the right frame of mind?
Yes, definitely. I got can get a little bit like OCD. So like sometimes the routines like, oh, well, I hit 7 balls instead of 8. Like
So you're that,
everything is
like, okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
I sometimes like,
Uh-huh.
when I'm kind of freaking out, sometimes that'll happen. But yeah, I definitely have. I had my my music that I would listen to, and I always had one speech from David Goggins that I would listen to
Oh,
as I'm walking over to like
did we
the
just
first
become best
tee.
friends?
Dude, I'm just like, I'm ready to go jump through a wall.
See,
Let's
the
go.
only problem is, though, if I listen to too much motivation stuff before, I'm like ready to
Yeah,
go too much. But I
yeah.
love it. Goggins is the man. Absolutely love it. Okay, tell. So was it like a speech you would listen to on the way there, or warming up, or when were you
Yeah,
listening to
like
Goggins?
walking over to the first tee. It was essentially like,
Mm,
I got to think about it. It's been actually a few years since I've listened to it. But it was essentially like you are the man in the mirror, and like you have to be okay with that man in the mirror, and you have to like face your fears and face your doubts and be able to just like step up and be like, you know what, that's me, and this is me too. And it's like, let's go through it. Let's like, stay hard.
mm-hmm. Love
And
that.
then
Love that,
yeah.
man. I On my first half marathon, I think in most of my half marathons, I've only listened to a 3-minute Goggins track on repeat. Literally, that's all I listened to for 2 hours. And I don't know if you've seen any of my Instagram videos where I do if David Goggins played golf, but if not, I'll send them to you because you'll appreciate
Yeah, yeah,
it.
please do. I remember the first time I read his book. I'm reading his book in the middle of like drop down and just start doing push-ups.
I'd judge you if you didn't, I mean, like, you look like a fit guy too. So I look like you're taking fitness the right way. I mean, if you guys haven't read either of David Goggins' books, I didn't think his second one had a chance to be as good because his first one's so good, but I think it's just as good, if not better. The guy's life is truly extraordinary. So guys, if you need some motivation to change your golf game, your life, everything about yourself, listen to Goggins. If you're not
Yeah,
motivated by that, I'm worried.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Oh man, I know it could go on Goggins rants all day here. So let me go back. So tournament golf, obviously you're talking about the prep work. When things didn't go that way, do you feel like you played better or worse sometimes? Like, because to me, I mean, I always tell people, we got to be really careful about our warm-ups. I'm sure you have this with your students too, where I hit it bad, so I'm going to play bad, right? We have that thing. Like, for you, do you just recommend guys that are playing tournaments, getting into, high level stuff, just to have it and just kind of have that, like, it's a warm-up mentality? Or do you have any like kind of tips to get them mentally ready for the round? Because like we said, first tee jitters are not the end of the world. Tiger said he still gets them, right? So it's like we got to use them the right way. But what kind of advice would you say, because you've played, like I said, Q school and all these high level events, which we'll get into, but like, what are you doing before the round mentally to get ready as well?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. So I think when you talk about the warm up, let's just talk about full swing first. Okay, we can talk about kind of the other parts a little bit later. So when we talk about full swing, we have to get warmed up. So it's like I am, before I even get to the golf course, I've already stretched, I've already worked out, I've already gotten my body primed to a position where it's like, okay, it's mostly loose. But when we're hitting balls, what we're trying to do is we're trying to warm up and we're trying to prime our brain to think the correct way. So a lot of times, like I notice it, like as I also like caddy for some friends, also professionally, as well for a little bit. But when you can watch somebody get very, like, if they're very nervous or it's a very important situation, like things happen a lot faster. So
Mhm.
being able to run through, like, okay, my awareness, my calibration, okay, so I'm going to be aware of my balance. I'm going to be aware of my tempo. I'm going to be aware of my tension. So, doing things where it's like, okay, this swing 20% tempo, 40% tempo, 60% tempo, 80%. Where I have the least success, what I notice a lot of people is when they get very technical. So it's like, okay, they're recording their swing on the range before the round, or they
Wow.
have
Yeah.
they have too many sticks here, and they're like, really like it's kind of, it's softer. It's like, okay, I have this internal focus. I'm focused on what I'm doing versus what is happening. I mean, the more of like an external focus.
Hmm.
So the more that I can go through a rehearsal of like, okay, priming my balance, priming my tempo, priming my tension, one hand only swings, left hand only swings, aim 50 yards to the right and pull it, aim 50 yards to the left and push it, hit it high, hit it low, hook it, fade it, up,
So
down.
you actually
Just
do that before the round.
absolutely. I'll hit very few straight shots.
Interesting. I can't say I've ever heard that before. And you feel
Yeah,
like that
all
just helps you kind of self-correct and not worry so much about the result?
100%. And it's just like I've done it so many times that it's like I just need to know what the feel is for the draw. What's the feel
Mm.
for the fade? What's the feel to get my low point more in front? What's my feel to get the low point more behind? You know, and then I know, okay, these are the shots that I'm gonna want to hit more. So I like to draw my irons and fade my driver. So it's like I'll go, okay, small draw, big draw, hook, small draw, big draw, hook. So now I'm starting to get face awareness along with the path control. So then it's just like, and to be honest with you, I play my best golf when I don't hit a single ball to warm up. If I just walk to the first tee and just go figure it out, I'm in a much better place. Because, like, for me, the most important thing is not so much swinging it well, it's allowing myself the freedom to be able to access what I already own.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The whole technical side of things too. People just get, so technical oriented out there. You nailed it too. Like I see the alignment. I'm okay with like one alignment stick, but you got
Sure.
multiple ones and you got, some of your dad's filming you. I see I play a lot of junior golfers and stuff. And
Oh my
I think
goodness.
they mean well. And it's like intent, they mean well. They want to do good, but there is such a thing as doing too much. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I'm the same. Would you play your best when you have one swing thought or no swing thoughts?
I play my best when I have swing feelings. So swing thoughts, I think, can be very dicey because, I mean, I'm sure as you know, we got the left side of the brain, we got the right side of the brain, we got the CEO, we got the deeper parts of the brain. We need to access the subconscious. We need to access that part where our best golf lives. And for us to be able to access the subconscious does not communicate in words. The subconscious communicates in feelings. So when we start to say swing thoughts, now we're thinking words put into feelings. You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, I need to feel more connected. I need to feel like it's 20% effort. I need to feel like my arms are going to beat my body, or I need to feel like my body's going to beat my arms. Like those things, absolutely. I think those are great kind of like reminders, but it's subtle. It's all about, it's about like how, like, where are those thoughts coming from, less important than like the thought. Because if I played great golf thinking like finish high, and I go the next day and I think finish high and I don't play good, why? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
when
I
we have
like that. Swing feelings versus swing thoughts. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it with the subconscious there too. It's I always say people, you know, they're like people are worried about not taking anything out there, and like it's like you got to try to, like you said, tap into the subby, and if you're just chatterboxing your head all day, you're never gonna get that, and that's usually when you're rushing and thinking too much. And yeah, you absolutely nailed it. I think that's really good. Do you have a certain feel then that you try to develop that day, or is that something you have a couple that are just kind of always in your toolbox?
I have a couple that are kind of in my toolbox. I mean, this is where, preparation and practice come in. So it's like, when I am practicing, I'm trying to hit the same shot over and over. I'm trying to hit a 5 yard draw with my iron. Every single time I hit it, I'm trying to hit that exact same golf shot. So I know the feels for when I get off, when I'm on, you know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, this is the shot that I'm trying to hit over and over and over and over. And so when I can just kind of tap into the work that I've done, who I am, like this is the money that I put into the bank. I've already put my $10,000 into the bank. There's nothing that I can do. The only thing that I can do before my round is just get loose and allow myself to have the freedom to access what I already own. I can't go and just say, oh, by the way, late deposit of like $8,000 because I just made 6 really nice golf swings, right? Can I put the money back in the bank? No, it's Sunday. The bank's closed.
Love that. Yeah, that's, I think too many people are trying to get that final deposit in though.
Exactly. And it does come from a place of insecurity. Because it's
Mm.
like I am not comfortable with where I'm at right now. So I need to try to control it. I need to try to control if I this happens, especially like if your audience are smarter or more
I like to
affluent,
think they're pretty wicked smart, you know. So yeah,
wicked
they're
smart. Exactly. Yeah, I like what you did there. Like the things that make you good at business make you a bad golfer. The okay, I need to control this problem. Like I work with a couple of lawyers, and they're like I have to prepare for the worst so I can be able to like prepare ahead for it. But it's like when we're playing golf, we have to like that trying to control, be like, okay, well, if I can have my checkpoint of like, okay, well, my stance is like this, and I am here, and I can do this. If I can make sure I check all the boxes, I'm going to play good golf, which is just not how it happens.
I feel like that's why I've had such a bad season because I've had such a good business season.
Maybe you just got to
I,
let it
I'm
vibe,
such
dude.
a I'm such a type A. Now that you say that, I'm like, huh, that makes a lot. Yeah, that I could totally see that. That's very good perspective. And yeah, lawyers, they're a little different. They kind of need to prepare for that stuff. My dad said I could go to school. He'd pay for me to go to school as long as I never became a lawyer. So I guess I wasn't cut out for that one. What
You need fewer thoughts, more vibes.
fewer, I like that. What would you say to people that feel out of control during the round? Like you just get off to a terrible start or you just can't get anything going. I get that a lot from people. And obviously you've I mean, what do you do when that was happening when you're, you know, on these professional tour events? Because I know even though you guys have amazing swings and grind and like you said, 500 putts a day or whatever you're doing, like there's going to be days where all of a sudden your golf game's just decided to stay at home and you're out there still. What do you do when you feel like you're, like I said, a little out of control, kind of spiraling downhill?
Great question. Make your world smaller. Okay. So when you start spiraling, especially if you're playing professionally, your world starts to get bigger. So now, oh, what if I miss the cut here? You know, where am I going to drop in the rankings? What are my sponsors going to think of me? Is my coach going to be mad at me? Now all of a sudden my world is too big. So the only thing that we can control are the things that we can control. So what I'll do is like, I'll recognize. I think Jordan Spieth does such a good job of this. I love listening to him and Michael talk because he'll be walking down the stretch and he's like Michael, I'm choking, dude. Like I'm freaking out. Like I'm freaking out. By just saying that, you are putting words to it. So now it's not in the silence. It's not in the darkness. When it's not in the darkness, now it doesn't have the chance to be able to spread. So when you can just verbalize it, be like, man, I suck today. just that little awareness of now I'm in the present moment. It's like, okay, like, yes, yeah, you do. Why? Okay, what are the things that I can do to help me make my world smaller? So for me, it's breathing. It's okay. Can you, for this next hole, focus on your breathing? If you did that, that's a success. Doesn't matter if you made bogey, birdie, or double. Okay. My attitude. Am I smiling? Next hole, I'm just going to smile. Can I do that? Awesome. Next hole, I'm going to really make sure that I dig deep into my playing focus for the day. Okay, so whatever that focus may be, kind of with those swing feels, or I think of it more so as like an affirmation of how I'm going to play golf. So I am going to play golf with commitment no matter what. So I'll set this before I play. And so it's like, okay, can I play this one hole, making sure I commit to every single golf shot? And then next thing you know, now you've played 3 good holes in a row and you haven't thought about your golf swing once. You've only thought about like, okay, can I breathe? Can I smile? And then can I commit to what I want to
That's
do? And then,
fantastic. Yeah.
so then
Go.
hopefully after those 3 holes, you've gotten off the schneid and now things are good. And then you forget the things and then you start playing bad again. And it's kind of a cycle again. But
yeah, no, but it's like catching it, right? It's like having that little mid-round reset. It's hard to do sometimes. I like how you said that we got to go more narrow, because yeah, I've definitely felt that too. Like, playing bad. Well, you're a mental golf coach, or you're the +2 handicap, you're shooting, and it's like, what are people going to think about me? Yeah, there's like all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, go back to what you can control, and yeah, just kind of have that reset. And like you said, I didn't hear, like you said, there was no swing thoughts in there. It was smiling, it was breathing, it was literally just taking control of your body to take control of your mind a little bit.
exactly, 100%.
That's fantastic. That's great advice, man. I haven't heard anyone say it quite like that. So that's really cool. When you are in the round 2, where is your, I talk about routines a lot. Where's your emphasis on pre-shot routines? Do you, really stick with it? Is that, obviously you've played at the highest levels? Like, how does that kind of factor in? How has your routine evolved over the years, and, different types of it for, full swing, short game? I just encourage my students and really anyone listening to have some sort of ritual so we can get our mind ready for the same, for the shot. Like, what is your kind of take on routines?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I think there are 3 different kinds of routines. So I think we have the pre-shot routine, the post-shot routine, and the during the shot routine. So, and I think the routine, like to figure out what your best routine is going to be, you have to, I think, go from the end first back to the beginning. So, what is the point of a good pre-shot routine? The point of a good pre-shot routine is not to just go through the routine. The point of the pre-shot routine is to have clarity, is to have commitment, and is to allow you to be primed and prepared and ready to hit the shot at hand. Those are the things that you're trying to achieve. So everybody achieves those things a little bit differently. So me, I'm a little bit more analytical, a little bit more type A. I need, what's the wind? How far is the shot? What's the lie? What's it playing? Where am I trying to hit it? Like, I need a lot of information to allow me to like be able to process it and run it through my algorithm to be able to kind of like pick the shot. Some people I know, they literally just like don't even look at anything. They're just like, 7-iron, boom.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, the Dustin Johnsons of the world are just like, yeah, just figure it
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like being able to figure out, okay, what are the things that are necessary? Call it like left brain. What are the left brain things that are necessary to give you the right amount of information? Okay. But the important part of it is then to blend it. I call it throw everything in the blender. So then blend it so it can now turn into a feeling. Okay. So that kind of sensation of, okay, I have all this information. I see the shot that I want to hit. Yeah, visualization is also super important. I think being able to see the shot that you want to hit, at least in your mind's eye, it doesn't have to be, some people have a hard time visualizing, but at least like imagining, yeah, at least imagining what it feels like to hit the shot, imagining what it sounds like off the club, imagining, again, these senses, what does it taste like when you hit it nice? I don't know, something like that. And then being able to take those things and then walk into the shot over the line of debarkation. You're stepping over that line. And so it's like you asked me a question like, how has it changed? So the more that I've kind of gotten older and the more that I've learned, I have noticed that it's very important for me to set very clear instructions to my brain. There cannot be room for doubt. Like your brain is just a computer. Garbage in, garbage out. You have to put in the information into the computer to then produce what it is that you want. So for me, what I say is I am going to hit this shot with commitment no matter what. Whatever that word is, I'm going to hit the shot fearlessly no matter what. I'm going to hit this shot. I'm going to enjoy this shot no matter what. Kind of some of the things I can kind of think off the top of my head. And that no matter what, think of it as like a key unlocking the door. So now I'm going to do this no matter what. Key unlocks the door, you open it up. Now you walk out into, some people, the way I kind of think about it is like you walk into like burning hot coals over your feet, but you got like a super hot girl watching you and you can't make a face. You know what I mean? So
I did that at a Tony Robbins event a couple, like 7, 8
oh, did
years
you
ago.
really?
So I get it, man. There was no hot girl watching, but I was just like, everybody else is watching. So I get it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So it's like you can step on those coals without letting your mind go crazy,
Mm.
without having it think of the shot, without having it trying to like
Oh, are you sure, or this or that? Like, yeah, that I like.
exactly.
I'm just taking this visual of like someone behind a golf ball, and then like the hot coals literally to where their stance is going to be now.
Exactly. And they're just walking up to that shot, and they've now like it's in there. The shot is already been programmed. There is nothing more that we can do. The only thing that we can do is just play. Let's just go and just be free. Some people that I work with just like kind of just going out into like a, when you open that door, it's a bright green pasture and everything's wonderful and everything's great. Just kind of different people's personalities.
Mm-hmm.
But all you're trying to do is just get up there and just access what you already own. Let it happen. And then the post shot routine, every shot has 3 possible outcomes. It's either perfect, good enough, or an opportunity to learn. So when it's an opportunity to learn, we are stating facts. Did I do the thing? First question I always ask, did I do the thing I said I was going to do? Did I hit this shot with freedom no matter what? If that's a no, the next shot, I say to myself, the next shot I'm going to hit, I'm definitely going to commit to it. And then I stop there. I don't even look at it. Was it a slice? Was it a hook? Did I top it? I don't care. If I didn't do what I wanted to do, I don't even look at the result. And then if it's perfect, I pump myself up. It's too easy for us not to give ourselves credit for doing things well.
Couldn't agree more.
Definitely. So really pump yourself up. Like I am the man or woman. This is me. I am awesome. And then if it's good enough, like let's say I kind of thinned it, kind of chased up there to the front of the green, but you know what? Good enough.
Yes. That is awesome. I feel like I just learn more and more. Like I said, I'm just so great to talk to people like you. I have never heard of I've heard of post round routines and different ways to do it, but yeah, I definitely don't think we give ourselves enough credit. It's like when we do hit a good one, we don't even like acknowledge it. I always joke like when we hit a great drive, we pick that tee up. I'm like, this is the time where we should be like, that's what I was trying to do, right? But then as soon as we hit a bad one, we just berate ourselves when those are the ones where it's like, yeah, we watch the bad ones and then we just pick that tee up for the good ones, and that's not helping anything. So yeah, I fully understand that. I really like the like you said, the coal kind of analogy. I think that I've never heard that before, but yeah, it's like that walk into the ball is not the time to be thinking about anything else, right? And I feel like that's why I tell everyone to do your full shot routine behind the ball, because I always, if you want to watch a mid handicap, high handicap, they're doing it right next to the ball,
Right next to the ball.
thinking too much. They scoot right up. They're still thinking about golf swing. They have no target. Their alignment might be terrible. And so if you watch every pro, though, it's always behind walking into it, at least for full swing. It changes for short game and stuff, but
Right.
that's fantastic. I absolutely love that. So you feel like yours it's taken you a while, it sounds like, or it took you a while to kind of figure out what you need. And like you said, everybody is a little bit different for how they get confidence and clarity over the shot.
Yes, definitely. But the end result is the same, regardless of how the path that you take to get there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic. So when you were, playing at a high level and, on all these events and you're in the Q school and stuff like that, is that something you're just really trying to be as like focused on your pre-shot routine and just be as committed and have that, like you said, I'm going to be fearless or I'm going to be committed. Like, is that what you were kind of thinking about then?
Yeah, so like one of the things that I would write down every single tournament round that I would play, I would keep some stats. I try not to get too obsessed with them. Um, but the thing that I would keep track of is it's called the mental scorecard. So
Oh yeah,
Michael
that's great.
Garden, yeah, I don't know if you spoke with Michael.
I haven't
Uh,
yet, but I like that book.
yeah, you should. And also his brother Brad's the man, he's a Rice grad. Um, but so Phil would always do this kind of mental scorecard. So it's essentially like every shot is either yes or no. Did I commit to what I wanted to do for this shot? So it's kind of like the was I decisive for each shot? Was I committed to this? If I did, yes. If I didn't, no. So then it's just like yeses over nos, and then whatever that percentage is, that would be my mental scorecard. My average for the tournaments when I won was 98%. So I would do my routines 98% of the shots for 72 holes or whatever it was, and I would win. When I would miss the cut, my average was closer to 75 or 70.
Wow. Yeah, I actually had John Weir. He created Mental Golf Type, and he's caddied for Austin Treslow and been, in the U.S. Open, PGA, and Corn Ferry, and done all that. And he always said the same thing, like the PGA Tour, high level, like the highest levels are sticking to their routine, 95+%. Corn Ferry would be like 90%, and then it just kind of goes down and down. So that's interesting that you tracked that and found that. Why would you feel like you broke down to 70 or 75%? Was it just, not really feeling it, getting rushed, like tough course? Why would it break down like that?
That's a very good question. I think as the tournaments got bigger, I let my world get too big.
Mm-hmm.
More comparison to other people, being like, man, this guy has it so much better than me. Man, he puts so much better than me. He chips it so much better than me. I can never do that. Yada yada yada. So it's just like the world would then kind of get too big, and I would get, you know, I I would probably say like probably some sort of lack of self belief, a little bit of like, oh wow, like I can definitely make it. I'm a kid who didn't start playing golf until I was 16. Now I'm competing here at all I need is a good round, and I go and make it to the like Q school finals, and just kind of let myself get ahead of myself and not stay in the present moment as well as I could have or should have.
Yeah, I always joke we're all time travelers out there, just like that three putt in the past or that 18th hole coming up. If I just go par par par, we always
Yeah,
love to do that. I'll just edit this out. But do you have more time? I had no idea it's already 1 o'clock.
yeah. I got another 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this into a two-parter because I'm enjoying it so much
Yeah,
because
me too. Let's
this
do
is
it.
great. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So you've been obviously at just the biggest stages, the U.S. Open. You mentioned there's a great story about that. Do you want to go into
I
the
great.
U.S. Do you want to go
Yeah, I
into
don't
the
know if
U.S.
great's the
Open
way to put it,
story,
but
or do you want to go
it's a
into?
U.S. Open
All
story.
right, let's get into the U.S. Open story.
All right. So 2014. Okay, so this was the last time the U.S. Open was at Pinehurst before the last year or this year. I was the 1200th ranked amateur in the world, like nobody. But I got through locals in Houston as an alternate. Okay, so I think I went like eagle birdie birdie in the playoff to get like first alternate or something like that. And so it was at a sick golf course down here in South Florida. I had my buddy was with me. I was like, and you get free practice rounds, being an alternate. And I was like, dude, let's go. Come on, it's a sick golf course. Let's go play. So I went, yeah, I just kind of like played the golf course, enjoyed it, got to the golf course 6 in the morning the next day, waiting, hopefully someone didn't show up.
That
And
has to be
Frederick,
agonizing.
a little bit, but it's also like, I was like, man, I'm just happy to be here.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't even like, yeah, it was just, I was like, this is sick. It's my first time in sectionals. I see, this golfer that I know that this guy's on TV, like that's super cool. Um, and so Frederick Jakobsen, so top 50 in the world get automatically exempt into the US Open. I think Frederick Jakobsen at that point was 52nd or something like that in the world. So he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go play the Memorial. Hopefully I'll get into the US Open or whatever tournament that was after the Memorial. And so he withdrew. So like Landon Michelson, you're on the first tee, 10th tee. So I go and walk out there and I'm like, all right, let's go. Super nervous, but let's send it. Um, First hole, it's like a par five, two bunkers up kind of both sides, it's like an island fairway. Okay, I kind of skank it in the right bunker. And I have, like 220 all over water. And I'm sitting there with my caddy, Chris. I'm like, should we go for it? He's like, why not? Thin it, skips over the water, bounces through the bunker, hits the flag, goes like this far.
Oh my God.
I
Are
was
you
like,
kidding me?
okay, you know what? That was sick. And played incredible golf, just incredible golf. It was blowing 20 miles an hour, super firm, fast.
And this is 36 whole day. This is a
Yeah.
marathon
This is
day.
36 whole day. So I shot 71 the first round, which was T4. They were taking four. And I was like, all right, we got a chance. We got a chance. Coming down the stretch, I knew I had a pretty good chance. Oh, mind you, I had 7 3 putts for this. Yeah, I made like 12 birdies or 10 birdies or something crazy like this.
So is it a 1 or a 3 putt day?
Yeah. It was either hitting the back of the hole or I was 3 putting. Speed control wasn't the best. But made like eagle on 16 and incredible up and down on 17, or made eagle on 15, incredible up and down on 16, and a couple great pars on 17 and 18 to be honest with you, the most nervous I'd ever been in my entire life. Like couldn't even breathe walking down like the last fairway, just like just heart palpitating, like couldn't. So this is where the story is kind of going. So I couldn't even bear the thought of writing my score down on my scorecard. Okay, I think you can probably get where this is going. So get through 18 and I get hounded by reporters. Like, oh my goodness, you're a 1200 ranked amateur and you qualified for the US Open. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I did it. Whoa, I did it. This is awesome. And so go into the scoring table and I hadn't filled out a single score. So I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I shot. Da, 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 da. Turns out signed for a 70 when I shot 71. Okay. So
I take it back. When I was researching you, I saw that, but I didn't see that it was for the US Open. I definitely saw that, but I didn't want to bring it up in case that still stung. Oh my God.
Yeah. So no part of me was trying to cheat. No part of me was like, oh, I want to make sure that I get in the US. I had no idea what I'd even shot. Okay. So we get done. I leave the scoring area. More reporters talking to me. My caddy comes over. He's like, yo, I think they got it wrong online. They said you shot 71-70. He's like, no, you shot 71-71. I'm like, I honestly, bro, I have no idea what I even shot. So we go over it and he's like, yeah, the online score is incorrect. So for those of you who don't know, they have changed the rule now, but if you leave the scoring area after you sign and you go back and recheck it and it's wrong, DQ, you're out. So I had a decision to make. Do I go back and check and see if it's right? Or do I say nothing and go play the US Open? That was kind of the decision that I had to make. So I sat there for a couple minutes. Don't get me wrong. I was like, man, because I played good enough to qualify. You know what I mean? It's just like a stupid semantical thing. So I'm sitting there. I'm just like, gosh, what do I do? What do I do? So just like walked into the scoring tent and checked it. It was wrong. DQ. Went out to the parking lot, cried for like 20 minutes, walked out to the 10th hole, called my coach, cried for another 10 minutes. And they came back. The reporters were still there, just like surrounding my bag. And then, gave a couple interviews and then was on the Golf Channel the next day. And
oh my God, you're on the Golf Channel the next day?
Yeah, like 7 a.m. with, what's her name? What's the blonde lady's name? Doris.
No. Doris Burke?
No.
Blair O'Neill?
Yeah.
Oh.
But they were very nice. They were like, you're just like Sebi. I was like, thank you.
Wow. I can't even, I mean, if you would have went though, you would have just had this pit in your stomach and like it would have been the worst like US Open.
I played good enough. That's the thing.
I know. So, that's insane. So did you ever get back there again?
No.
Oh man.
No, I made it to sectionals like 2 years in a row afterwards.
Arguably the dumbest rule ever for sure. And I'm glad they finally, I mean, wasn't that Jordan Spieth this year who got DQ'd from a tournament?
Because he had to go to the bathroom or something.
It's just such a dumb. There's too many rules in golf, and that's definitely one of them. I'm glad that finally got changed. Oh man, that is just not right. What other than that, what are some let's look at some positive memories then. What was your first like professional win like? Because obviously golf, like you said, has the lowest lows, but the highest highs are good. So what was maybe either your first or the biggest win that you were able to do, and what was that feeling like?
So first professional win was it was at yeah, I was living in Sarasota, so I was on like the west coast of Florida playing the West Florida Golf Tour, which is a great tour. If anybody is in west coast of Florida, go check them out. They're awesome. Uh, and so I just gotten my Latin tour card. Yeah, so I just played Latin Q school and finished like sixth and got my tour card. Went out on Monday and played a tournament. I think I shot like 65 or 64 and won. I was playing nice. I was playing really good. And then the next week was in a playoff for another win and hit a tree root and broke my wrist.
Oh
So
my
yeah, so
God.
there are a couple of like these kind of situations. So then I missed like the first half of the year for Latin tour, which was unfortunate. But that was like that was my first win. But I think the one that I remember the most was yeah this was a pretty cool story. So I had considered kind of hanging it up at this point. This might have been I might have my timeline wrong. I started teaching in 22. I don't know. One of these years. I was I went down. I hadn't touched a golf club for a month. Okay. And I was caddying for a couple of my friends. I caddied for one of my friends, two stages of Q school, another one at another Q school. And I'm just playing, just hadn't touched the club. Um, and I went down to Jamaica and I played the Jamaican Open, which is a super fun event at Trial Golf Club. If anyone goes down to Jamaica, I know I'm plugging golf courses, but anyone goes down to Jamaica, play Trial. It is the best. It's
The
awesome.
Jamaican Open. I've never heard of that.
Dude, okay, you got to come down and play the Jamaican Open as an amateur.
I was gonna say it's an open, so yeah, what's that
Yeah,
qualifying like? That'd be crazy.
you just sign up. You sign
You just
up. You go
sign up,
stay.
huh?
Yeah, just sign up. Yeah, that would be, dude.
Okay.
Wicked smart
That could
golf
be some good
podcast
content right
from
there.
Jamaica, 100%. So play the Jamaican Open, okay, and I striped it. I hit it great, and I had 12 three putts in 3 days and lost by six or something like
Mm.
that. So it's like just putt average and you win, okay. So I was like, I, I flew home with a buddy of mine and I was just lamenting. I was just like, gosh, I'm such a bad putter. I'm the worst putter, da da da, terrible. And my buddy Eddie was like, if you keep on talking like this, I'm literally going home. I don't want to be around you if you talk like this. And he was mentioning like when he went to UNLV, and when his coach would ever hear you talking like that, he's like, okay, you don't get to come to dinner. You eat dinner by yourself if you want to talk like that. So he made me say over and over and over again, you are the best putter in the world. Well, second best putter because Eddie was the best. But he's like, okay, he's like, Landon, what are you? It's like, I'm the best putter. I'm the best putter. I'm the best putter. I said it tens of thousands of times. Okay. And we were practicing for like a week and a half at this point. My first 4 or 5 days, nothing changed making putts wise. But what I did notice change was that every time I missed a putt, I'm like, that was weird. And every time I made it, I was like, that was me. So
Mm.
I started to kind of like shift my self belief of like who I was as a putter. And I went from like thinking that I'm the worst putter to thinking that I'm the best. And that little change really like switched my mindset. So I went and I played a golf tournament a couple of days later from that. And remember how I told you I striped it in Jamaica? I hit it terrible at this golf tournament, but I putted amazing. And I mean, I think I hit maybe for the 54 holes, I think I might have hit 27 greens. So half the greens, which is not very good, not a winning recipe usually. Um, but I was coming down the stretch and I made a 20 footer on 15, 20 footer on 16, a 20 footer on 17, and I made a 10 footer on 18 to win by two. All because of like, I believed that I was the best putter in the world. And it was like, there's something weird about that kind of stuff in golf where you can just like believe it and it happens. You know what I mean? Have you
Oh
ever
yeah.
experienced something kind of like that?
100%. I was working with a kid yesterday who's was struggling with putting, and I said, he's like, as soon as I step on the green, I just start getting worried. And I'm like, we have to just reframe the entire way we look at putting. Like if you like he said the first step on there, he just went into fear mode. So I'm like, we got to start going in and flipping it. So yeah, I 100% believe you can. I mean, this is on and off the golf course, right? Like you have to believe it first before it actually happens. And you pretty much don't tell anybody either, because people are like, you suck at putting, or you're broke. How do you think you're going to be, whatever? Like you have to believe it. There's so much power in that. And yeah, it's not instant though. And people like want, like we said earlier, want the instant results. So it's like, well, it didn't happen, so I'm going to quit doing it. It's like, you're going to go right back to where you were. So I love that story. And that is so cool that you had such a good turnaround like that. And putting, I think everyone, if they told themselves I'm the best putter 100 times a day, it's not going to hurt anything, right? Like 30 to 40% of all strokes are with the flat stick.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's definitely not going to hurt you at all.
That is a cool story, man. That and Jamaican Open, I'm learning a lot from you, man. You're a well-traveled guy. Where did you get all this? You have a lot of insight on the mental game and just like a unique perspective. Like, where did you learn all this? Is this stuff you've worked with sports psychologists, coaches? Like, how has that kind of evolved in your career?
Yeah, definitely. Like, so I worked with a couple of different psychologists when I was in school and then out of school. And, I think a lot of golf psychologists, they have a lot of really good things to say. But the one person that I met that really changed my life is named Stephen Yellen, who authored the book called The Fluid Motion Factor and Simplicity. And so it's funny how like things kind of end up working out. So I was a member at a course in Sarasota called Sarah Bay Country Club, where David Ledbetter is a member, and David's a super nice guy. Whenever I'd be out there, I'd say hi to him. Good to see you. And was mentioning a couple of the sports psychologists who I wanted to go see. I think it was Pia and Lynn Nielsen, maybe Michael Larden. I wasn't really sure who I wanted to see. And he's like, you know what? People have been having a lot of success with Steven. You know, we're talking about Steven. And as we're talking about him, David's phone rings and it's Steven Yellen. I was like, that's weird. So
That's what I
we
call.
just
That's what a universe wink is. What I like calling that, right?
yeah,
Yep.
100%. I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Hmm.
And so I went over to Orlando and worked with him for a couple of days, and it was completely changed the paradigm of how I thought about golf, and I think definitely altered my trajectory of life completely. Because I think like before I met Steven, I was a very average professional golfer, probably below average professional golfer, because I was so obsessed with the swing, because I was so obsessed with like, okay, every time I hit a shot poorly, I would then blame it on, okay, I was too fast, or I came over the top, or I did this, or I did that, did this with my arm, did this with my hand. Like it was always blaming some body part of mine. But what I was failing to understand was that this muscle memory does not break down. The only thing that breaks down is your ability to access what you already own. So, like when you weren't executing shots correctly, that was because you were violating the rules of the bank, which is kind of his way of putting it. So the more that he allowed me to like access my true potential and like get this brain out of the way and let the deeper part of the brain take over. Like I'll never forget it. Like playing the first tournament round of golf after that, I'm like walking up to the first tee and I felt so free. Like walking up to hit the first shot, I felt so free. I started crying because it's just like so many, especially people who dedicate their lives to this sport, or who play it competitively in high school and college and professionally. It can beat you down, and being able to experience what freedom feels like, and you can just like be who you are, was kind of a really really incredible thing. And then so just being able to access what you already own, especially under pressure. um there isn't a better feeling, really. Like being the man in the arena, and then trusting yourself to execute your plan and it works, that's pretty cool.
Man, that sounds amazing. Yeah, we definitely gotta learn more about him. I've yet to. Does he have a book or anything, or
Yeah. He has two
that's
books.
the
One's
that's the
called
fluid mo? Yeah, sorry, you just said that
yeah
the fluid motion. I got to check that out. I have not heard of that one. I got a library back here, so always trying to learn. So I'll have to check that out. That sounds amazing. I mean, yeah, I think playing golf with freedom. I think that's like just such a important part of it that most of us just never even feel. I mean, most guys even never have it once, let alone consistently, because it's just like you said, it's fear versus freedom. It's trying to control things and not really accessing the more powerful side of things. Man, that's really cool. I'm glad you shared that, and it seems like again you just have a lot of cool stories and knowledge of the game, and then that got you into the teaching side of it. So I imagine your teaching is far from like just do this with your swing. I mean, you kind of even your email when you reached out, we were talking about how you've helped a lot of golfers with not even so much swing changes, but it's just like little things in the mindset. So tell us a little bit more about kind of your teaching style and how you're helping players.
yeah definitely. I view my teaching through a player's perspective. Okay. And what I mean by that is we need to be able to trust ourselves under pressure when we go step up on the first tee. If you're playing, a $10 Nassau, you're playing with your boss, you're playing with somebody, like we need to be able to know what it is that we're doing and have a better understanding of our game. You know, uh, Alex's game is going to be different than Michael's game, which is going to be different from James's game, which is going to be different. But everybody has to understand their patterns and their tendencies. So it's like I'll have 6 different people on the lesson tee kind of throughout the day, and I'm teaching them completely opposite things. Like I have some people who like to shadow me, and they're like, "Dude, you told the guy 10 minutes ago or an hour ago something completely different." I'm like, "Yeah, he's a completely different golfer." So I try. I the one thing that's kind of a non-negotiable is the fundamentals. So setup, posture, grip. These things are pretty consistently make good golfers. So if we can do the simple things well, you know, beast mode, be excellent at simple things. So if we can do the simple things well, then it's going to make the rest of our lives significantly easier. So the majority of my adjustments that I give people are setup related and go into, like, if you read The Golfing Machine by Homer Kelly, like it's
That
kind of
book
a nerd,
intimidated me. I never read it because it was
it's kind of a
intimidating me.
nerdy book. It's definitely a little
It's
intimidating, but
Bryson's
just
favorite book, so I mean, it had to be,
yeah,
right?
exactly. But just getting people to go, okay, good grip, good setup. How do we make a chip shot? How do we make a pitch shot? So a chip shot with a little wrist hinge, and then how do we just kind of tie all those things together? So super basic. I don't try to get very complicated with it. How do we get you to understand what good contact feels like? Understand what good contact with a little bit of speed feels like, and then how do we understand you know what makes you perform the best? Is it, certain kinds of shots? Like what are the things that we need to have you do? So I try to stay off the driving range as much as possible, but some people need it and some people really like kind of working on the driving range. So I try to make sure that everybody can understand themselves and be able to then bring it out to the golf course. So it's like I will not make a change for somebody just simply because I do not like the way it looks. Like if it can produce a shot that has the low point where I want it to, and we swing the club the direction that we want to, life is good, and we're going to play it from there. And then it's a lot of
It's not a beauty
short game.
contest, right? You know.
No, it's really really not. And but the thing that happens is if you get set up well and you understand what you're trying to do with the golf club, it tends to look all right. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm not going to change aesthetics just for the sake of changing aesthetics. We
Hmm.
get really good at understanding how far we hit the wedges. How do we have a couple of different wedge shots? How do we understand how to? It's very holistic. So it's
Hmm.
very much okay. How do we hit different shots around the greens? How do we have you have a comfortable low shot, a comfortable high shot, and how to get out of a bunker? And then how do we read greens? How do we have good speed? And how do we aim the putter the way that we want? And then as soon as we can kind of get those skills, so what I've tried to do is also be able to like quantify your skills. I have an app that I made that we actually like can quantify your golf skills based on like, okay, can you start the ball on line? How many times out of 10? So you have this level of skill. Can you read the greens? Can can you hit the putt with the right speed? So being able to have the right skills. And then when we do go out on the golf course, what I have a lot of people do is start out from 75 yards. Every hole is a par four. Can you break par? And then if you can break par, we move it back to 100. After that, move it back to 125. And it's just like getting people to learn how to play the game from green side in as opposed to tee box, or green side out as opposed to tee box in. So yeah, I really try to, like this holistic golf that we've kind of been talking about, where it's not just mechanics. It's like having them have the understanding of the conceptual understanding of what we're trying to do, the conceptual understanding of how it fits in with their plan, how it fits in with their body, how it fits in with everything that they're doing, to have a better just conceptual idea of kind of what you're trying to do. It's amazing to me how few people understand what makes a golf ball curve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
I
it's like,
wrote an
it's kind
article
of,
about ball flight laws, so I understand. I remember doing research for it. Yep.
it's amazing. So it's like just being able to like teach, like arm somebody with the tools to be able to diagnose themselves when they're on the golf course. I guess like it's probably not a great business model, but it's like I want my students to not need me. You know what I mean? Like I want
Yeah,
them
yeah,
to be
that's
able
my
to
me
sit.
too. I don't want to work with someone forever and ever. I want to be a resource, but like my goal is to arm them with as much, in their arsenal and they can figure it out. I completely agree. It's not a great business model, but we don't want to we're not what is this, like a psychologist that, want you to be there forever and ever and ever.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so in my
It's
long
you are
rambling intro
doing it
here,
right, by the way. Like I've played 25 plus years. I've had instructors like more than I can even think of, from like $20 an hour to the $400 an hour coaches, and you're doing it right. So I love that. I think there's so much benefit for the wedge game, for keeping it simple, for learning to score. I wish there was like courses where you didn't have to play and you could just go and practice on the course, right? Like that's such a great skill, and like playing lessons and stuff like that. That's amazing. I think more and more guys just need to learn that, because you like you said, we just kind of get into tee box game and we're not learning how to actually score. And no one really has that. I always tell people tee it forward and learn how to score. Nobody does it though. Very few.
yeah. I had a lesson earlier this week. This guy Benny flew and saw me from Houston. It was awesome. Benny's a great guy. If he's listening. But so it was interesting. So he came down. We had a couple hours where he wanted to work on some things on the range. He's an engineer, so it kind of goes into like that the
Mm-hmm.
prefrontal side. He loved learning about the little intricacies, and he loved kind of just understanding his tendencies and understanding what he needed to do. Great. Next day, we had a 7 o'clock tee time. We're going to go play. So we went to go play, and he had just striped it on the range. I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It was an 8 handicap. It looked like he was a scratch golfer. I'm like, man, this is awesome. We get out to the golf course, and I was like, who are you? Where did Benny go? Like, this is so bad. Because it was just like, you just tell the energy was so off. The energy was so much like, I need to control this. Kind of exactly everything we've kind of been chatting about today. I really need to control this. I really need to control this. No freedom, swung at 10 miles an hour slower than he was swinging it the day before. So I took him to like, we were on 3, I took him to 10. I'm like, we are just going to just work on our routine. How do we get into the present moment? How do we do this? How do we do this? And the first couple holes was a little bit of like, he was fighting against me. He was like, oh, well, on the last hole, I hit it to the right. I'm like, well, that's the past. We're in the present. So it's just like that constant kind of reminder of like, okay, we got to stay in this present moment. We got to just breathe. We got to visualize. We got to make our world smaller. And he went from literally lost a dozen golf balls in like 4 holes to didn't miss the center of the fairway, didn't miss the center of the face, got everything on the green or up and down, made a bunch of putts. And like the look on his face was the same look on my face when I first kind of learned these things, which was like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe that I have the ability to do this. Like the ability of, because he kind of described it as somebody like holding him back as
Mm.
he's trying to go succeed. And he's just like he took this person and he told him to go sit in the cart. And then he was out there and he was just like, the weight that was lifted off of his shoulders was just incredible. So yes, like that, like understanding like the things that make you good on the range aren't necessarily the things that make you good on the golf course.
Yeah, that absolutely nailed it. I mean, you've been on fire today. I want to already have you back. I know you got to go here. So before we let you go, though, where's the best place people can follow you, connect with you, learn more about working with you? Because you got a ton of wisdom, and I have no doubt you're doing big things in the teaching world.
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, we stay connected. So I'm at the Connected Instructor on Instagram and TikTok. I think. I don't know. I don't want
I'll
the
link to
Chinese to steal
everything.
my
Yeah, send me the
information.
links.
Yeah.
We'll link to it all in the show notes for everybody.
But yeah, definitely Instagram is the best way to get to know me. I'm also partner with the Connected Golfer. It was Leo Herrera. We kind of started this connected movement to try to make sure that we can kind of connect everybody through golf. Not everybody's going to be a professional golfer. Not everyone's going to win the US four ball like Leo did, but everybody can be more connected with themselves, more connected with their breath, more connected with being grateful for being out here and get to be around wonderful people and play wonderful golf courses and get to have be grateful that we have the body to be able to come out here and and play golf. And I think the one more thing kind of before I go, one of the great tools for course management that I've used is the Shot Pattern app. There are a lot of apps out there. You have the 18 birdies. I think Scott Fawcett has his own app, or the Decade have their app. But I've showed people this. It does a really good job of kind of outlining the Decade idea of you got to play golf with a shotgun, not with a sniper rifle. Being able to plot my way around the golf course, and it gives you live strokes gained kind of calculations. And if you use code connected, you get like 10% off or something like that.
Nice.
But that's my only shameless plug.
No, no, not at all. I mean, it's like I said, they reached out to me too, and I think that when Scott was on, he talked about that shotgun approach and how most of us just think we're snipers and we're not. And so I think when he said that, that really painted a good picture for me. Like, oh wow, like you just don't know what bullet's coming out, right? And so like that's why a lot of times you got to figure out that the middle of the green is the smart play. A lot of times, and especially higher handicappers, you're gonna have wider shot dispersion. So no, super helpful. Again, really love talking with you, man. If I can help you with anything, please let me know. It's been a treat today, and I know my audience is gonna geek out on this stuff, man. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, this was a blast, and I'm going to be starting on my own podcast, so you're going to be a guest.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I would love to be on it. And I was going to tell you, you mentioned kind of thinking about it before, talked about it, and I was thinking after this call, no problem, man. You'll crush it.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. This is a lot of fun.